Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to HOTFIX. So today we're going to talk about the Xbox One again, Mr. Kirioff, because I don't even know what to say. This is like usually we don't really cover that much console-y stuff. It has to be said. However, I think this needs to be covered, Mr. Kirioff.
Frankly, it's a fountain of endless comedy and entertainment. And
basically, yeah. Because let's just say one thing: we don't really give a fuck about consoles. So I am not some hardline bloody Microsoft Xbox fan who's going to go crazy because I don't really care. Although I find it quite interesting to the point of it being probably the most like collapse-fested thingy-majingy I've ever seen. Infested, that was the word I was looking for. Collapse fest. That's what it is as well. It's a collapse fest. So let's begin, Mr. Kirioff. Well, so a couple of weeks ago, Microsoft were like, hey guys, we've got an Xbox One. This is our amazing thingy-majig. And we actually did a hotfix on that, I do believe, where they just sort of said, here's a console, TV, COD, some other game, and yeah, great. ESPN. Fish, ESPN. Excellent. In fact, didn't some guy say the N64 Super Mario game had fish that moved away from you when you got close to them? So it's hardly some sort of a new feature, which can kind of hilariously link into other stuff where Microsoft like to market things which are like, I'm going to use the term non-features as features, which is very strange. Yeah. But we'll get onto that, Mr. Kirioff. So anyway, they talk about the console. They don't really say all too much. Big thing is like, are we going to be able to play copied games? A lot of companies depend on this. A lot of people depend on this because, you know, I unless you're some sort of super rich son of a bitch, and that actually sounds quite good, super rich son of a bitch, you're not going to go out and buy every game new. Yeah, you're probably going to trade games in, buy games second hand. There's companies like, what are they called? Like Game in the UK and bloody places like that, which deal in this type of stuff. What's the American one? GameStop, is it?
GameStop, yeah, GameStop.
Yeah, them. So there's loads of companies that do it. So one of the big things was, am I going to be able to sell my game? You know, can I buy a game and then trade it in? Can I give my game to my friend? Well, Microsoft decided to say nothing. For like, it's been about 3 weeks, has it? Or something, I don't know. It's been a long time, Mr. Kirioff. Silence, then all of a sudden, sir, a press release comes out.
A wild press release appeared, did it, sir? Just appeared.
It did. Oh dear.
It's so terrible looking at this.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reel off a few facts, Mr. Kirioff, because we might get a bit confused as we go through this. So if we look at this, right, what does the Xbox One give you? Well, for a start, you kind of don't own games anymore. You just license them. Now, this is kind of like Steam, but we'll get onto... In fact, as soon as we go through these points, Mr. Kirioff, we'll go into a little Steam versus this debate, because it would be good to highlight some quite major differences. Discs are only going to really be used for installing games. Okay? Having the disc doesn't mean you own the game. Whereas, if you go out and buy a game now, for your 360 or whatever... You own that game, and I could go to Kiri's house and go, hey, Mr. Kiri, I've got this game. Hey, let's play. Yeah. And we can just play it, and it's fine. Well, not anymore, because it's like you've just bought a license to the game. The disc, it's essentially all the disc really is the installation files and a key, which links it to your account, kind of like most PC games that register on Steam. But we'll get into that. There's some crazy stuff with people being authorised who can use your bloody Xbox. Like, there's a stupid feature where it says your family can play your Xbox, Mr. Kirioff, which is great. How is that even a fucking feature? I don't know.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. It's not like mine can do that now.
Mind-blowing.
Wait, hang on.
Well, this is quite dodgy as well. Publishers can decide if they want you to be able to trade the game. And, like, hilariously, the game can only be traded to people if they have been your friend on Xbox Live, I presume, for more than 30 days. You can trade it to them, but you can only trade it once. But this is only if the publisher enables this feature. And this is only if they want to, I presume, pay some sort of specialist fee to Microsoft. Because they're not going to just allow you to do this.
No, I also want to point out with that Microsoft said that you could have friends and family play your games in an unlimited way. The requirement of the friend being your friend for 30 days, that sounds like a limit to me, sir. as in, that's not unlimited. It's not unlimited friends can play my games, because it's required to one friend and one friend that you've known for over 30 days. So that is not what that word is used for. They've misused that quite badly.
And also, you'll be able to buy games at traditional retailers.
I mean, hold the phone. That is a big feature, bloke. That is massive. That is massive. I mean, give me one example of how you can do that right now with any other traditional. Oh no, wait, it's all of them. Why the fuck would you even write that in a press release? Hey guys, check out this brand new feature. You'll be able to buy games the way you've always bought them. Well, fuck me.
Actually,
everything else,
there's
just a sideline. This was the biggest thing. This was the biggest problem. People were sat there going, "Oh, but will I be able to go to GameStop to buy games? What if I'm not able to?" But no, they've cleared it up now. You'll be able to do that just like you already fucking could.
And actually, I've got a little correction to make to the 30 days thing. So if you're somebody's friend for 30 days, and if the publisher has allowed you to share the game, you can then give them the game. But you can only do it once, obviously. But that feature's not going to be available at launch. So what does that say to you, Mr. Kirioff? Well, do you know what that says to me? That says that after the little announcement they did, and then the hate they got, I think they've probably sat down and gone, guys, we've got a bit of a problem. We're going to need to say that you can actually share games, but we need to do it in a really restrictive way. That's massively restrictive and still in our favour, obviously. So, yeah, but it won't be ready for launch. But we'll just say this is there, and then we'll put in brackets, yeah, by the way, it won't be ready for launch. But it'll be fine because we've just said it. That's what that says to me. That's bad. Oh, dear.
It's like a massive list of contradictions.
Yeah.
Unlimited play for everybody, except only if the publisher allows it, and only for one friend, and only if they've been a friend for 30 days, and you won't have it available at launch. So really what they've said there is, nothing's changed. We've announced something that doesn't mean anything. Hooray!
You also, hilariously, because people had some privacy issues with the old Kinect. I mean, obviously, Kinect is required. You cannot get rid of the Kinect. It is there. It's part of the system. You can't just say, no, Kinect, go away. It just says, no, hang on a minute. Where's the Kinect? It needs the Kinect to function. But you can turn the Kinect off. So this is like, oh, this is fine. However, can you really turn him off? Because apparently, according to dodgy reports, you can turn him off, but he's not really turned off. This is if you're using the Xbox, okay? So, I mean, obviously, if you walk up to the wall and pull the plug out, he's dead. But the Xbox is dead as well. So you've got your Xbox on, okay? And you think he's gone, bloke. You think he's gone. But really, if you utter the words Xbox on, he turns on. What?
Which is impressive for an electrical appliance that's supposed to be off.
Yeah, indeed. So he's not really off, is he? So what's he doing? You know, you've shut down your Xbox. You've walked away from it. You haven't pulled it out of the wall. You've just shut it down. You walk back into your room, and then you go, Xbox on, and he turns on. Well, what else has he been listening to? Okay, I'm not saying that it is a spy device, but that is like, you know, trying to sell that to a consumer. That's like, what the fuck? I don't want this.
That's just bullshit. You can't say, oh, you can turn it off, but it'll still respond to your voice, because that means it's not off. That's like, I mean, you don't say, oh, well, you can turn your TV off, but if you try and change the channel with the remote, it will just automatically turn on when it's got no power going to it. That's not how it works. That's not what that word means. It's not off. It's just on bloody standby, like it would be normally. It isn't any less creepy, because you've still got the fucking HAL 9000 box sat in your living room, waiting on your every word, bloke. Waiting on what you might say. You might say it accidentally. You might just say something. You'd be like, oh, you want me to go on? Okay, I'm supposed to be off, but I'll turn on anyway. Hello, motherfucker! And you'd be like, what the hell's this? It's just terrible.
The thing with the Kinect, though, is like, you can go crazy with it, and you can say, okay, so you're sitting there, Kiri's come round to visit me, and we're sitting there, and we're having a chat about Assassin's Creed. He's listening in, he's like, oh shit, they're talking about Assassin's Creed. I best start displaying Assassin's Creed adverts. So you just sit there having a chat, up the side of the screen, oh look, there's Assassin's Creed. Yeah, Assassin's Creed. That's the problem. Like, and you can just take it even further. I mean, like, before we recorded this, I was laughing to Kiri. I said, so you could get the Kinect used as evidence in a court. So you're in court. The example I give it is not true in any way, because in fact this would be the other way around with Mr. Kirioff. I said that Mr. Kirioff is a wife beater and is in court for this. If anything, he'd be getting battered. Not he wouldn't be doing a beating, but whatever. So he's in court. He denies it. No, I haven't done anything. But Your Honour's like, okay, well, let's bring forward Exhibit A. Well, Exhibit K, the Kinect. comes forward, and then he says, let's see what the Kinect recorded. So the Kinect in its HD camera and its bloody microphone records Kirioff going absolutely crazy and beating the shit out of his wife, and then he goes down. Do you want that? Do you want a camera in your front room that can record your activities, Mr. Kirioff? No, you don't. So, yeah.
Although that's not exactly the best example, because that's a positive use of it.
Yeah, it is.
But then again, you're not really. You're still not going to want it. You're still not going to want your thing recording everything you do. I mean, God knows what perverted shit you get up to when you're in your front room. I don't want the Kinect recording you and like playing it back to someone at random. I don't want to come round your house.
Or it automatically calls the police. It calls the police, so you're sitting there. It believes you're involved in some sort of activity you shouldn't be involved in. Snorting cocaine off Gokwan's face from his cookbook or whatever the hell you do. And then the police gets called. Oh dear. Mr. Kirioff, I think you've drank too many bottles of beer. I'm going to have to call the police because you're probably a dangerous society. That'd be quite good.
He's got alcohol poisoning. That'd be quite funny.
But anyway, all that is just random crazy shit. So, the internet connection thing, this is a problem as well. Now, if you remember Diablo, I think it was error 37 or 34 or some shit, I can't even remember. But when Diablo came out, online DRM, single-player RPG, you cannot play because the servers were destroyed, okay? Now, all of the Xbox One is like that. All of it, right? So this is what it does. So it will do a 24-hour DRM check. So every 24 hours, it will check. Okay, this means that you need to be connected to the internet. If you're not, then it can't perform the check. Then, well, it can't perform the check. So you can fuck off if you think you're going to play any games. Okay. It's also got a 1 hour DRM. So it'll check in every hour. Okay. Right. It's funny. It is. It's crazy. So if you want to go away, and bear in mind, there's no mention of any kind of offline mode or anything like that. If you want to go and play a game and you've got Virgin Media as your ISP, and they're a bunch of fucking wankers, right? I'm living in most definitely the first world. I've got 100 meg download, 5 meg upload line, okay? Sounds great. Virgin decide that they want to do maintenance or whatever. Oh dear. I can play my game for an hour, and then I'm fucked completely because I'm going to fail the check because I've got no internet access, so they can't verify that it's actually me playing the game. Oh dear, I get fucked, and then I'm in a rage, and then I'm calling the phone, I'm on Virgin, I'm raging to Virgin, I'm raging to everybody, I'm going fucking crazy, because I can't do what I want to do. I don't even need an internet connection to do that, oh dear. And the way this compares to Steam is Steam has an offline mode, so it doesn't really compare at all, because you can just turn Steam offline, and then play the game you want.
It's not perfect, but it does work, whereas the Xbox does not have anything like that. It is just, got no internet connection, got no games, enjoy your lack of entertainment. And also, something
hang on. Didn't they say something about broadband as well? I can't see the quote.
You're about to go into it. They actually said every Xbox One owner will have broadband. Sorry, what? You're making a massive blanket assumption about 100% of your market. What? Why would you do that? Unless they've actually got evidence that state. I mean, does it come with broadband? Because if it doesn't, you can't make that comment. You cannot say categorically that every single Xbox One owner is going to have a broadband connection. You cannot
say that anyway, because not everywhere has a broadband connection, for a start. What the fuck? What happens if you live somewhere? You live in the sticks, that's what we'd say in the UK. You live in the fucking... I was going to say the jungle, but not the jungle. You live in a rural area, that's better. You live in a field, you're a farmer, but you like your Xbox 360. How are you going to play your Xbox One? Because you probably haven't got an internet connection. And even if you have, it's probably going to get ate by cows or something. Yeah, or ate by cows.
One of the dodgy
cows that eat the line. Llamas, kangaroos, I don't know, whatever. Pigs.
Right, but it's okay, bloke, so play bloke, because he's got broadband. It's Xbox One says he's got broadband.
Oh, yeah, true.
Even though he hasn't.
Jesus fucking
Unless it actually comes with it and they provide it with the fucking console. They are not allowed to say that because that's just bollocks.
What happens if their servers go down? Whatever service they've got that authenticate your online mode. What happens if they go down? Nobody can
play any games.
Yeah, what would you do then? Oh god, it's down.
And you know what? You know what as well? They will. I'm going to call it right now. When this thing launches, the network will collapse.
Yeah, but no, bro. It's got infinite power of the cloud. It's just so funny.
About the infinite power of the cloud.
And what's the other thing as well? Rocket and magic and science. Rocket science. Rocket power. Rocket science and magic and science. That's what they kept saying, wasn't it? And infinite power of the cloud. Oh dear.
It doesn't work like that. There's no such thing as infinite power for anything. Oh God.
They need to they need to go and read a dictionary and find out the meanings to words like infinite and unlimited and stuff like that.
It's it's just so many misuses of words, and it's all like supposed to hype you up and buzz things up like, oh, unlimited access for your family and friends. It's not unlimited. Everyone's got a broadband connection. Not everyone's got a broadband connection. You only have to verify every 24 hours. If you don't, you can't play any games. If the server goes down, you can't play any games. Well,
here's another thing as well. What about the multiplayer services of these games, like Xbox One? No, I mean the first Xbox. Jesus Christ, that's got no online service now. It's gone. So if you had one of them, wanted to play that multiplayer now, you can't. So fuck off. Like, you could say, okay, well that's an ancient console style. So I'll go, yeah, but Half-Life is from 1998, and I can play that right now, multiplayer if I want. Yeah. That hasn't been shut down. Same for any game on the PC. They don't get shut down. Okay, not the same for any game, because some games that do require, servers and such, sometimes you do get them turned off. But basically, I can play any game I want, multiplayer. Microsoft, it looks to me like they're moving into a system of, they're going to have Xboxes coming out in cycles, which they kind of already have. The Xbox 360 will begin to be phased out. Its online service. The Xbox One will carry on. But when the Xbox 2, I guess, comes out, the Xbox One will then start to get phased out. And it's like you buy access to things because, as we said, games, you don't actually buy a game and own it, and you can't play it offline anyway because you need to do this DRM check. What happens when they decide to turn the multiplayer off for your favourite Halo game? Which I think they've done with Halo 3 or something like that, or Halo 2, I'm not sure.
It was Halo 2. They
turn it off. What do you do?
Services.
What? Oh shit! But I like playing this with my friends. We used to play this all the time. It doesn't matter that it's old. A game's a game. People play games for enjoyment. Well, we can't now because Microsoft has said we can't. Oh god, the Xbox 3 has come out. They've announced they're turning off the Xbox One network. My Xbox One's no good. What the hell do I do now? So this is a big major... a lot of assumptions have been made there, but there's a big difference with the consoles when it comes to the PC. Well, the Xbox One when it comes to the PC, there's no like hardware limitation.
I've got to point out there, you just said that's a lot of assumption. It's a lot of assumption, but I just want to draw attention to everything that Microsoft has done in the past. They bring out a new operating system, they phase out support for the previous one. They've done it across PCs, they've done it across versions of Office, they've done it across all of their software, they've done it across the mobile platform. I had a Windows 7 phone, and I was like, oh, Windows 8 looks quite good. No, I can't have Windows 8. You've got to buy a brand new phone. You can't just update it. You don't get constant new versions like you do with Android. No, you just got, that's it, you've gone.
Yeah, well, doesn't this go into the type of thing with Microsoft are like fascinated or fixated on, with just basically emulating Apple? Anything Apple do, Microsoft want to do it. Go way back, look at the Zune. They tried to do the fucking whole music player thing. It was a complete catastrophe and a failure. What are they trying to do now? Well, the iStore is a fully enclosed software sales platform and music. Well, it's called iTunes, ain't it? Music, films, and games and software for iOS and Mac devices. What the hell they call it? Their operating system. What do they call it? I don't fucking know. Whatever. It's fully enclosed. It's a completely enclosed ecosystem that depends on hardware upgrades. So you get different versions of iPhones, yeah? Older ones can't do what newer ones can do, so they cannot do, get hold of hardware, games even, or software that the new one can, so you're forced to upgrade. Microsoft are trying to do exactly the same thing, but for games consoles, because obviously Apple don't have anything in that, that type of.
The thing is, you can see that progress because they also did it with Windows 8 as well. If you look at the way applications work on Windows 8, it's an enclosed system.
Exactly. Yeah,
so
exactly.
They're copying it. But the thing is, it does not work. It doesn't work with consoles because the whole.
What's a console to you? What is a console to you?
Yeah. Well, a console is just a computer you play games on in your front room. That's all it is.
Yeah, in your front room.
That's all it is.
Well, okay, maybe not in your front room all the time. It's just a social gaming device, ain't it? It's a device you can use. You can play on your own, that's fine, and a lot of people do. But you can also say, hey, come round, let's have a game. Play with multiple controllers or whatever. Share your game with your friend and all that stuff. That's what it is. But Microsoft are kind of like, no, we want to take... It's almost like they want you to buy a game, and then they want you to keep paying them for kind of the privilege of playing that game almost.
Yeah.
If you buy the game now for your Xbox, if I go out and buy the game, 30 quid, I could say, hey, Kiri, you go out and buy a totally different game. Then we could swap games of playing. That's great. That's fine. And then we're also probably going to sell these games. So we're contributing to the second-hand games market. But Microsoft are like, no, we want control of the second-hand games market. The way we're going to do this is by limiting the sales to only one per copy. And you have to be a friend for 30 days. And we're going to charge the publisher for this privilege. So you could be in a situation where if a game costs 30 quid, it might cost £45 if you want it enabled for trade. You might even get different versions of a game enabled for trade, a game not enabled for trade. There's so many different ways you could think about this. It's just crazy. From a business point of view, makes sense to Microsoft. It makes sense to me if I'm the financial guy at Microsoft or anybody in any kind of money department, because I'm like, yep, we're no longer losing this revenue stream to some company we don't care about. We're going to take part in that. We're going to take the money. But what they don't realise is, it's mad.
It makes financial sense, but it makes financial sense to them as the people on the receiving end of the money. To the people who are actually going to buy this thing, of which there are going to be bloody none, because it's so massively restrictive. It takes away all the social aspects of consoles. It takes away the sharing the games with your friends. It takes away the fact that you can just plug it in wherever you are and play. It takes away all of the stuff that makes the console what it is. And instead, they've brought out the bloody Xbox One that is a massively DRM-packed, forever watching, fucking, I'm watching you in your living room listening to what you say monster, that's 90%, well, I'd say probably at this point, split equally between television and games. And the thing is with television, we've already got televisions, we've had them for ages, we don't need it integrated into the Xbox One. There's already services like Netflix, we do not need stuff like that integrated into the Xbox One as part of it, because, well, we've already got Netflix. And the thing that really pisses me off about this, and I was kind of hoping that they would come out and say, it did not get received very well at all when they announced it. And I was thinking, maybe they'll learn. Maybe they'll actually do something.
There's no way they would. Why would
they've
they?
Just come out.
Yeah.
They've affirmed everything. They've been saying things like, oh, well, if the press reports the wrong stuff, it makes us look bad. And then what do? They come out and confirm pretty much everything the press has said, which is that you can't do shit with your Xbox One. And now it's like, well, you had a perfect opportunity here to say, okay, this was not well received, we'll do this, this and this. Like, they could still have a bit of DRM, because that's the way it's going anyway, but, they could actually, I don't know, at least dress it up so they're not saying, fuck you, this is all for the money, but instead they've done this. And then when you look at the PlayStation 4 now, I'm not too fussed. I know at some point my Xbox 360 will die, and at that point I'll probably get another console, but you would not actually be able to pay me to have an Xbox One at this point, because it takes away everything that I like about the one I've got. And given that I'm not massively fond of the one I've got in the first place, that's quite bad. It just...
Well, I suppose, if
misjudged it, it's so arrogant. It's so fucking
arrogant is a good way to. It's a good descriptive word for it. I mean, because if they are like just basically assuming we're on top. I mean, we spoke about this in the previous HOTFIX, but they just assume that we're the best now at consoles. So we're doing this. Fucking deal with it. Everybody's going to buy a console. They will have high sales. I've no doubt of that. But I'm not sure it's going to be. I'm no console gamer, but I would buy a PlayStation 4 at this point, 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
That's at this point. Things may change after E3 or when more information comes out, because that's not a lot of the stuff isn't exactly fact for the PlayStation 4. Although some of their marketing has been quite clever. They're sort of taking the piss out of the Xbox and Microsoft because they know they've fucked up, but Microsoft seem to be like blinded and just think that they're doing a great job. So let's just talk a little bit about Steam and the way Steam kind of compares to what's currently available on Xbox Live and what is going to be available with the Xbox One. So with Steam, I think the big difference is Steam isn't a platform. Steam isn't a thing which can be replaced. Steam is just Steam. So you're not in a situation where they'll be like, oh, this is Steam 1, there's going to be Steam 2, so Steam 1 is redundant. So everything you've bought on Steam 1 no longer works, you need to move to Steam 2. That's what happens with the Xboxes, yeah? So if you've got a big catalogue of games on your 360 thing, well, it's not going to work on your Xbox One, is it? It's a different platform, so fuck off. So you've lost all that stuff, yeah? Okay, Steam does... It is you don't own your games on Steam, you just pay for licenses to play the game. Right, so that kind of is the same as what Microsoft are going for here, but there's a bit of a difference. especially with the price of these things. If you look at the, I don't have any hard facts on this, but when I did have my Xbox, I know that games like, I think it was Gears of War 2 and 3, and it was a Halo game, might have been Halo Reach, they were basically 30 quid to download, to buy and download, and these were like, oh, even I knew these were old games. I'm like, what? Why is this so expensive? Because I remember I was looking for Gears of War, because I'd played Gears of War 1, and I thought that was pretty good, and I'm like, oh, I'll get Gears of War 2 and Gears of War 3, but I'm in this Steam mentality of, oh, they'll probably be a fiver. Well, they're not. But this is the point I'm trying to highlight. On Steam, you have these massive sales all the time. Games get massively reduced. I think the Batman games, in fact, I'll just check now what's on sale at the moment. Saints Row the Third for £6, £6.24, 75% off. That's probably, if it's on the Xbox service at the moment, it's probably like 30 quid anyway.
Well, I've got a really good example of this. Batman Arkham Asylum, Game of the Year edition, was on Steam recently for like, what was it, £2.74 or something crazy like that, and it's like £10 normally, so it is a cheap game. It is a really cheap game. I was actually looking on the Xbox a couple of days ago, because me and Kat were talking about getting Batman for the Xbox so we could play it together downstairs, and on Xbox, at the same time that the Steam had the Game of the Year edition for like £3, the Xbox was charging you 15 quid to download the normal one.
Oh dear.
So what the hell is that? I mean, I know Steam had a ridiculous sale on, but that's still £5. Even if Steam hadn't had the thing, it's still £5 more than you pay on Steam.
Look at the mentality, though. You have to pay for Xbox Live to get access to multiplayer services and nothing else, and some chat stuff and shit like that. On the PlayStation, you have to pay for it. You get access to multiplayer stuff anyway, but if you decide to pay for the PlayStation, I think it's PlayStation Network or something, they give you games for free. It's like, well, you can see straight away there's a different mentality. Microsoft want you to pay for the ability to get access to games that you have to buy, and the other company are going to, okay, they still sell you games, but they will give you games for free as well. There's like a different mentality. It's sort of, that is like corporate Microsoft mentality. We're going to make as much money as we possibly can, and this is how we're going to do it, because this would be stupid if we threw away a revenue stream. If you look at the, there was talk before the Xbox One was announced, maybe it won't have a charge for Xbox Live. I think it's a gold. Is it Xbox Live Gold? Yeah. Maybe there will be a charge, but they'll give you stuff. It's like, no. It's almost like I sit there in my chair and I'm like, yeah, I told you so. This is the way Microsoft are going to go. They look at the success of Steam. They look at the success of things like the Apple iStore thing, and they're like, you know, we want some of this. We've got a platform here, the Xbox. We can keep renewing the platform every few years, and we can keep fucking shafting people for basically buying the same stuff over and over again. I think with the PlayStation 3, you can play the games on the cloud, the old game, 4, sorry, you can play PlayStation 3 games, and maybe even older games on the cloud through some sort of service. So
yeah, you can download PlayStation 3 games and play them on the PlayStation 4, whereas as far as I know, the Xbox One has got nothing to do with the Xbox 360. I've not seen anything so far that has said that you can do anything like that. I know you can't put the disc in, I know that doesn't work, because they've said that doesn't work, but as for downloading the games, I don't know the specifics of how it works with the PS3. I don't know whether you can like enter like a serial code or something to show that you already purchased the game and it'll download for free. I don't know how that works, but I would say that no matter whether it's buying it again but for really cheap or doing it that way, it's still going to have more in terms of backwards compatibility than the Xbox 360. Which again is just a bit.
I don't understand.
That's just.
I mean, hang on a minute. Come into my office.
Backwards, ain't it?
Come into Unit Lost Games Console Construction Industry Limited. That'll do. That's a great name. So we make consoles, yeah, and this is the new Unit Lost consoles about to come out. And I'm like, what do my fan base want? Well, they want to play their old games on it. That's fine. We'll give them backward compatibility. They don't want an always online DRM check going on. So, you know, you can play offline, that's fine. They want to be able to just play games that the friends have bought and such, and share games and rent games and sell second-hand games. Yeah, that's fine, that's great. They want amazing graphics. Yeah, let's ram in amazing GPU and CPU. Maybe let's update the controller. They want a really good online service. Yeah, you know, really good multiplayer matchmaking. Yeah, a really good store where they can buy stuff off, you know, if they want. Maybe they want to buy music. Maybe they want to buy films. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I think that'll do. That's sort of... I'm not even a console addict, but I know that would be a dream console, because that's how consoles used to be. The PlayStation 3 is kind of like... 4, I keep calling it a 3. It's 4, it's kind of like that. It's got a couple of restrictions, but it's kind of like... But the Xbox One is just like... I don't even know.
the PlayStation 4 to me is what I expected the Xbox One to be.
Yes,
based off the previous generation.
Yeah.
Because I kind of thought the PlayStation 4 would be maybe less expensive and a bit more simple than the PlayStation 3, purely because that was not very well received at launch, because people were like, what the hell is this? What does it do? How does it work? But I did not expect them to switch places, because Sony learned a lesson from the PlayStation 3, which was, okay, we overcomplicated things, we made it like way too expensive. The impression it gave was just not very good. It didn't do as well as the PlayStation 2 at all. The Xbox 360 destroyed us for that. And so they've come back and they've said, this is the games console that plays games, and it's full of social stuff, and you can get people to play games with you. They can just observe, they can help you, you can do this. They really emphasised the fact that this was the perfect console for the console gamer. And then Microsoft turned up and said, this is your device that will do everything, but if you want to play games socially, you probably won't be able to. Why would you? How can you take a winning formula like the 360 and then
it's arrogant? It's like you said before. It's just being arrogant. I mean, if you look at the another interesting thing, Microsoft cancelled their, I think they call it the media roundtable at E3, where they were going to discuss the hardware, because apparently there's rumours going around saying the hardware isn't as good as they've reported it to be, or they're having problems with manufacturing. I don't have the specific details on this, but there are problems with it, which will result in probably underclocked GPUs and CPUs and such on the first editions, because they can't, they can't afford to just say, no, we can't, we need to make a new batch, because they're already manufacturing these things ready for, when the demand comes in. So that's obviously pretty bad. And of course, I would imagine a lot of press have got a lot of hard questions to ask them, and they don't have answers for. I watched a lot of interviews and such after they announced the console, and it's very vague, to the point if they don't want to answer any of the questions, which is because they don't want to answer them, because they know it's so bad. There was also a demonstration I watched yesterday. It was on Polygon. It was of the UI. It was apparently a live I think it was Polygon. No, it might have been Verge. I think it was Verge. I think it was The Verge. I'm sure it was. Anyway, it was somewhere like that. And they were showing the actual system. They're sitting there with a woman. Some woman to do with the bloody department that designed the UI or something. I don't know. And they're giving it voice commands, but it is so laggy. Like, it's really laggy. It's not like what we've seen on the demonstration where it was dead quick. It was just, it was laggy, and I'm like, that's pretty bad. Like, that's what jumped out to me straight away. Not the fact you could go, Xbox One, ESPN, go, and it would just show you ESPN, which is pretty neat, but it was so laggy when it did it. It was like, oh. Well, of course, I'll just go, yeah, but this is an early version. It's like, no.
Just say, maybe first generation, it's been massively underclocked.
Maybe. I think. So what do you say, Mr. Kirioff? You're not a console gamer. I'm not a console gamer. We might have played on them, but we're not hardcore console gamers. What would you recommend for me to go and buy in the new generation of consoles, and why would you recommend me to do that?
The new generation of consoles, the only choice I can see for someone who wants to play games is the PlayStation 4.
Wii U.
The Wii U claims to be next generation, but I don't think it is, to be perfectly honest. It does not look any different to the Wii, and I still don't know how the hell it works, and it's dead confusing, and what the hell's it even doing? What is it? The Xbox One, it's not a... I'm just going to say it. To me, it does not look like a games console. It looks like an all-in-one entertainment system. It looks like a Betamax packed with restrictions. It's like, it is a cross between a fucking VHS and HAL 9000.
Betamax, come on, Betamax.
Betamax.
We all knew that was a superior format, but why did VHS win?
Nobody knows what honestly, I'm talking about. looking back at the two presentations and everything that's come out since, the PlayStation 4 essentially seems to be offering everything the Xbox One isn't. It looks like a great social console.
You know what I say to these people? Buy a fucking PC. Do you know why I say that?
Just do that.
Yeah, just do that. Do you know why I say that? It's nothing to do with me running a YouTube channel that just produces fucking shitloads of PC game content. It's to do with the fact that PC is pure, Mr. Curio. It's got its issues with DRM. It's got, Steam, blah, 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 blah. But you can also play DRM-free games, yeah? You don't have to... You're not in this enclosed system that Xbox One is trying to sell, where you buy off us or you go and die.
Yeah, for sheer variety of games, and actually...
You cannot beat the PC.
I'm sorry, but the social structure for the PC is so much better than any other console. It's just untrue. It just is. I mean,
Now's the time to join the master race, Mr. Kirioff.
Yeah, you want a good example of social gaming? We've got a Steam group of like 550 people. Do you know how many people I've got on my friends list on my Xbox? And it's pretty much anyone I can come into contact with. About 40, because it's a shit system. It's just
you have to pay for it as well.
It's just bad. The PC's just bad. Just get a PC. They're not even that expensive anymore.
I mean, fuck me. You could install Steam and just play the free-to-play games. You could just play League of fucking Legends. You could just play. There's loads of free. Although they are coming to consoles, some of these games. I think PlanetSide is coming and other stuff. But whatever. We'll leave it at that anyway because we're just going to keep talking shit. What I want to know, people, is what do you think about the Xbox One, given all the information we've just given you in this, and if you've read any information that's come out in the last day or so. Are you going to buy an Xbox One? In fact, if you are going to buy an Xbox One, tell me why you're going to do it. I very much doubt anybody is going to say that when they watch this, but maybe they will. Are you going to buy a PlayStation 4, not a 3? Because why would you buy the goddamn PlayStation 3? Although it must be said, I'm kind of tempted by PlayStation 3 because it's so cheap now. And some of the older games are meant to be fairly decent, but I ain't got the money to spend on it.
For what you get, it's quite cheap now. But
it's about 100
PlayStation 4, yeah, it's a bit mad.
Anyway, yeah, so we'll leave it at that, people. Let us know what you think. We've been Stylosa and Kirioff. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming. That's @UnitLostGaming. You can follow Kirioff. He's at Kirioff, surprisingly. And we'll catch you next time, people. Toodaloo.